The opinions expressed are those of the program host and guest and are not those of WSTU. WSTU does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. The phone lines are open. Call in with your questions and comments at 220-9788. That's 220-WSTU. It's time for Stuart Laser Talk with your host, Dr. Tred J. Rosacker.
I'm 5'10" and 242 pounds.
I always say this is the biggest I'm ever going to be, and I said that like 20 pounds ago.
A third of Americans are obese, another third is overweight.
Obesity is the biggest threat to the health, welfare, and future of this country.
I've always been overweight.
I've got diabetes.
Sleep apnea,
Heart disease.
Everything's hurting now.
It's a lot easier to lose weight than it is to keep weight off.
This is probably going to be the first generation of children who are going to have a shorter life expectancy than their parents.
18% of our children right now are obese.
It's not only health, it's about survival and well-being of the United States as a nation.
You don't crave broccoli, and our generation has grown up craving a Big Mac.
I want to think that there's something better for me.
Unless we're able to control this epidemic, we're going to have an abundance of chronic disease.
All of us have to be part of the solution to reduce obesity.
The weight of the nation is out of control, but we can fix that.
If we don't now take this as a really urgent national priority, we are all going to pay a really serious price.
Obesity will crush the United States in oblivion.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Tred Rosacker, and I am your host here today on my Slim Body Laser Spa Health and Wellness Show. It's all about how today's medical non-invasive lasers are helping you to look better, to feel better, to get rid of stubborn fat faster, easier, with less effort, and also something about pain relief and anti-inflammation and helping to speed up healing. Yes, these lasers are not the type of laser that shoots the missiles out of the sky or the type that carve your name in the back of a piece of metal. Those are high-powered lasers. Our lasers are low-level, cold laser technology, safe, ethical, efficient, and super, super effective. The name of my office is the Slim Body Laser Spa of Stuart. I'm located at 2311 Southeast Ocean Boulevard, Suite A, in Stuart, Florida. My phone number, if you're interested in a free consultation, and we do give free consultations, there's 772-223-5885. I have a toll-free number, 1-844-DR for doctor, and then spell out Slim Body, 1-844-DRSLIMBODY. You can check us out online. It's www.slimbodylaserspa.com. On my website, you can see videos about the procedure. You can see and listen to several select radio show podcasts that I have put on my podcast page. We have several blogs which talk about weight loss and health and just some cool stuff you like to read about on my blogs. It also has descriptions about the procedure, what our plans are, and of course, the all-important contact page. And you just put on your name, your email, shoot us it out, and we will get back to you as soon as we receive it and can get back through all the busy office we have. But we always got room for more people. I do have a Facebook page, Slim Body Laser Spa, facebook.com, and a full YouTube channel with 40 videos of health and wellness, but mainly testimonials. You can check out my Twitter feed. My handle is at DrTredDC, so Dr. Tred DC. And wow, what a weekend. I just want to have a moment of almost just incredible passion and for the Memorial Day. It's Memorial Day just passed. If you're anywhere north of the Jacksonville, Macon County line, then you know that Memorial Day is the beginning of summer. and when all the share houses and all the beach opens up, and it's a lot of fun and a lot of barbecues. It's not quite as much impact here in South Florida because it's always summertime. However, I just want to be with a solemn respect to those who sacrificed it all for our freedom. And that would be the soldiers and, of course, the first responders and anybody who has stepped in front of tyranny or stepped in front of things which don't seem right, or even whatever their reasoning behind it, and they sacrificed it all. And that's what Memorial Day was about. So I take that very seriously. And with that said, you know, life goes on, and life not lived is really not worth living as much. And when you're carrying around an extra bunch of body fat and a bunch of extra weight, it really is tough. It's hard to get through the day. It affects your health, your wellness, your energy levels all plummet. It can affect your blood sugar. It affects your heart. It affects your longevity. And it's not okay to carry body fat around for very long. It is normal to make calories, to overeat, to prepare yourself for a long-term starvation, which is why we're able to put on extra calories. But when those calories never come off, and year after year, you're in what they call a caloric positive mode, where you're always putting on calories, over time, that extra weight can be very, very devastating. So we have a solution at the Slim Body Laser Spa, and it is a non-invasive, non-surgical laser device. And if you've been frustrated before and have failed at weight loss, then my FDA-cleared lipo laser could be the answer for you. In only 9 sessions in 3 weeks, you can lay on your back, listen to music, and you can actually reduce the inches circumference, tighten chins, reduce belly fat, thin down the thighs. Anywhere that you apply this non-invasive low-level laser, it will release those calories, and that area will be reduced in size. So it's about inch reduction. I myself, when I did the procedure, I did it in 2012. I had a 40-inch belly, and in 3 weeks, 9 sessions in 3 weeks, I lost 10 inches, which meant I went from a 40 to a tight 36 waist size in only 3 weeks. I didn't lose as much weight as you would think, because weight loss and inch loss doesn't exactly, you used to think they're a perfect pair, but they're not. You can actually not lose you could lose a lot of inches and not lose a lot of weight if you're very strong, right? So weight loss and inch loss is not the same. So at our laser spa, we're dealing with inch loss, and then we have a nutritional program to help you confront the weight loss. And it's common sense, sane nutritional recommendations. All right. So that's my testimonial. I always like to relate back to my boy here, my number one radio guy in the morning.
How many other radio guys you got?
You're the only one.
Dang.
So that's okay. Well, actually, I've been through a few, and they're no longer with us.
Okay.
So
fair.
I'm glad you're still alive.
Me too.
And that's only shout. We should say a moment out to Stephen Melman and Tom Teeter, who used to do this show for many, many years.
Absolutely.
And the radio people out there, they remember that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But Mike's a young guy, so he's hopefully got another 40, 50 years here
I'm
on
hoping.
the radio.
I'm hoping.
Me, I'm 58. I'm getting on. I'm starting to get long on the tooth here. So, Mike, you did the procedure real quick, because I know we got somebody waiting on the phone to share their testimonial.
Yes, I went through and lost 6.5 inches in 9 treatments and looked better than ever for my wedding day. I went right through in the weeks leading up to my wedding, and the whole wedding weekend, that family members that hadn't seen me since I was at my heaviest. I was at up to 250, and I was in the 190s for my wedding, and they just saw me and they went, "Oh my God, what did you do? You look fantastic." And it was the laser.
Oh, you didn't tell them you were dieting and exercising for a year?
No,
because that wouldn't be true.
It was not accurate. And now my wife is doing the same thing, because she went through the treatment a couple of months ago now, and she lost a bunch of inches and has continued to stick with the diet plan that you guys helped get her set up with. not necessarily a diet plan, but just kind of guidelines. And she's much more conscious about what she's eating. And she's continued to lose inches. She's continued to lose weight. Yesterday, she put on what she called her fat shorts, which were the shorts that she had to buy and were
before the procedure.
Before the procedure, correct. And she was holding them out yesterday. And she's like, I can still wear them, but I got to wear the belt really tight. And she held them out to the side, and it was like 3 or 4 inches of space off to the side from, really great visual of how far she's come.
Only about 3 months ago, too.
Not very. It was around what, March?
Yep.
So
wow, that's
it's
great. Okay, we got somebody online on the phone that's giving us a call, and he's one of my clients, one of my fantastic superstar people out there, and I know he's listening. Are you there, Rick?
Hey, Dr. Treg. Good morning. How are you?
Oh, I'm very good. Hey, thank you for calling, my friend. Yay! Clap your hands. So, I don't want you to be nervous. There's only, I think we have about 4,000 to 15,000 people can be listening at any one time on WSTU, not to mention the online stream, which you can get from WSTU.com for the next month and a half. You will be there. Your testimonial will be visible. So go ahead.
Hey, Dr. Tread. So I just want to tell everybody that, I had a difficult time in my life. I lost my wife, and I just decided to make a change in my life. And my wife was a great cook, so of course I put on pounds over the years. But after 9 treatments,
stop blaming her for that.
Yeah,
she didn't hold you down and stuff food in your mouth.
No, she did not. But I couldn't help myself, right? So, but really after, and I haven't, other than weightlifting and trying to be physical, I haven't really tried to lose a ton of weight, but I decided to come see Dr. Tread and his team. I lost almost 6 inches across my belly.
Wow.
And almost 2 inches across my chest in 9 treatments. And I'm continuing. What's been so important to me is, like Dr. Tread said, that sound nutritional advice. He's just been a constant, consistent coach to help me go through this. And I'm not stopping. So I've never had any other treatments before. I haven't had any side effects. It was just been wonderful. Spa-like atmosphere. Working with Dr. Tread and his team. Everybody there is great. It's just been a great experience. So it's triggered me to start that lifestyle change and just eat healthy and exercise consistently and try to see where my body stabilizes. And I continue to lose weight. And for the first time in my life, I now walk around the house with my shorts on and like you guys were just talking about, and they're falling off. So rather than me going out and buying a bunch right now, I'm still waiting. But I exercise every day now, and I like it. I feel good, and that's just been a good journey for me at this point in my life. So I really appreciate everything you've done.
So Rick, it was kind of a jump start for you.
Absolutely.
Yep. Got you. You got a program, got a plan, made the commitment, paid some money to make sure it was important to you, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. I can't state the importance of that. People don't realize the shoes, the teeth that don't fit are the ones that aren't paid for. And
that's a fact.
So when you put a little money into something and effort, all of a sudden it becomes much more serious,
Yeah. I always used to say something to the effect of, when you pull in your driveway and you pull in your garage, you got a big vehicle and you come through your garage, that solid concrete pillar on either side, you don't knock your side of your mirrors off. Why? Because it's important to you. Well, this is important to me at this time in my life, right? And I'm not giving up. And it's just showing the results that just surprised me. So, and my family's happy that I'm starting to take care of myself better. I know it was terrible, but it's just it's a good change, and I'm looking forward to the future.
That's right.
Thanks, I really appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate that you reached out and our common bonds we have outside of this place go back many, many years. I knew your wife personally for many years back in New York. And Rick, you've been great, and I am so pleased to be part of you taking better care of yourself, because that's what our loved ones really want from us, to take care of ourselves, and you are, and that's great. And thanks for that. Thanks for sharing your story here with us. All right, let's move on. So that was great, and that's absolutely true. I've been in practice as a chiropractor for over 30 years. And I was originally born in Long Island, New York, in Massapequa. For those of you out there from the Northeast, I think most people in South Florida are either from New York, New Jersey, or Michigan. That's what I find to be true. If you're on the West Coast, you're from Canada. But anyway, so being born in Massapequa, and when I was 11 years old, my mom and dad made a decision that they wanted to move to South Florida. My aunt was an Air Force person who was in the Air Force, and she was stationed at a Homestead Air Force Base. By the way, my aunt is also a chiropractor. She went to be a chiropractor back when she got to Florida. And we went down and visited down in Homestead when I was just a little tyke, you know. I saw some of the Super 8 videos. I was 8, 9 years old, and we were swimming in the, I guess, the Biscayne Bay down there. And I guess a barracuda had come up, and you see me come screaming out of the water, you know. That barracuda was there. Today I swim with them, you know. And we ended up coming down a couple times. I went down with my mom, and she bought property in Stewart at the end of Cove Road and Canner Highway there. It was a fish camp. I mean, it literally was 6 rental cottages with a restaurant that was renovated into a residence by my dad. And we lived on the South Fork growing up there. And I ended up going to Martin County High School. I graduated 1979 from Martin County High. Started classes at the Indian River Community College, which was called IRCC back then. And I actually took some classes in US 1 in the Chastain campus there, which was on US 1, right across from the SPS. And, you know, that right there was a big concrete, looked like a bomb shelter. And I took some classes there. And I also took some classes up in Fort Pierce, took some anatomy and chemistry. And then I went off to chiropractic college in Kansas City, Missouri. And I was all about 24 years old when I got to college. I stayed for the required 4 years, 28, 29 years old. And then I moved to New York. And my father had a practice there for 50 years, 48 years when I graduated. He stayed another 2 years with me in Long Island, New York. And I took over his practice. And then he moved down to Sebastian and bought another house. Obviously, my parents separated when I was a teenager. So I stayed in New York, in Lynbrook, and that would be on Peninsula Boulevard and Hempstead Avenue in the 5 towns. And some of the friends and people that I had met were part of my father's friends. And one of them was Rick's wife's parents. And that was Sherry and Paul Seidenspinner. And her dad was a lot of fun. He was a really cool guy. He liked to ride motorcycles. And I think he had a BMW dealership, if I'm not sure. But anyway, when we moved to South Florida in Stewart, they also moved down to Palm City. So I was always friends with one of their daughters, Sherry. So I'm only mentioning this because I think it's good to talk about people that maybe aren't with us today because of the memories. And hey, we're all going to die. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I just left a funeral for a loved one, a relative, just last week, and she was young. So enjoy your day. Make sure that if you're not squandering any moments of health, if you're not feeling good, and you just don't assume you have more time. Realize that today's the day. You need to bust a move now. Just do it, because there's no guarantee tomorrow for any of us. If you know someone that has a guarantee, please let me know. I'd like to buy that policy. But as far as I know, there is no guarantee. So, that's why being a chiropractor and offering natural health care is so important to me as a professional. I really, really, really want you to be healthy and to live a full life. And gosh, in 30 years of practice and being natural healthcare doctor, most people know what chiropractors do. We deal with neck and back problems and disc problems and auto accidents and strains and sprains. And as my profession, as I stayed in practice over the 30 25 years or so, I noticed that people's weight was just creeping up more and more and more. In other words, early in practice, back in the 1988, 89, when I started, 1990, it was not a big issue. We had not that many people were overweight. And the reason why I would mention that is because being overweight affects your back. It's like, it's like carrying around a 5-gallon bottle of water. You know those bottles of water that you put in the cooler, the 5-gallon,
the big jugs, right?
Are they heavy?
You got to flip over and put.
Are they heavy to you?
Awful. I can barely flip them over without spilling water everywhere.
And I know. And if you were to carry that from Publix to the car, you think you could carry 2 of them or 1 of them? You put it in the cart, right?
Mm-hmm.
That weighs 48 pounds. That's how I think it's approximately, maybe it's 38 pounds. Please don't. Maybe you could Google the weight of a pound of water, of a gallon of water, but I believe it's 38 pounds. Try taping one of those to your front of your body and walk around all day with that 5-gallon jug of water.
41.7 pounds.
Okay, so 41 pounds. People, how many of you out there listening to this are 40% over your normal weight as I say this? Now, you could go to the best orthopedic surgeons. You could have the best knee replacements. You could wear have the most comfortable seats and have massages all the time. And you could, I don't know all the things people do when their knees and back and their legs, give out and are shot out. Yet to walk around with 40 pounds of extra weight taped around your midsection is like carrying that much water everywhere you go. You lay in bed with it. You go to get up out of the bed and you have to strain to stand up. You wallow to the bathroom because of that extra weight. How much better would it be to not have that? How much more energy would you have? How much better would your back feel? How much better would your knees feel? And not to mention the stress that 40 pounds of extra fat puts on your cardiovascular system. 1 pound of fat requires 1 mile of blood vessels to give it circulation. 1 mile of blood vessels. Of course, they're very small vessels, but it's still a mile if you put them end on end. Take 40 pounds, you got 40 miles of blood vessels that heart is pumping and pumping and pumping and trying to get the flood and the flow through it. Not to mention the stress on your hormonal system. It's fat is not, and let's call it adipose tissue. Adipose tissue or fat cells, they're not just mindless empty containers that hold calories that you can squander and throw away. You got them for life. Your fat adipose tissue is an endocrine system. It's an endocrine system. It's just as important as your thyroid gland, as your adrenals, as your pituitary gland, as your thymus, and your endocrine system, which controls your happy moods and your sadness. And, the endocrine gland system that's what your fat is responsible for. Hey, how many of you out there have heard about this stem cell, treatments where they're using stem cells to regenerate? It's called regenerative medicine. Now, they're moving away from anything that has to do with fetus, by the way. These stem cells are one brand is where they use the umbilical blood from when a baby's born. They take that umbilical cord, and those blood cells within that cord that would normally be discarded are now being harvested, and they're using that to regenerate tissue by injections. Well, they also use your own fat cells to do that. And think about that. So what they'll do is it's called autologous, meaning it's from you fat cell stromal cells. So what they're doing is they're taking your fat cells and pulling them out with a like a hypodermic suction thing. I'm not a medical doctor. Bear with me. And then they're taking those fat cells and they're spinning them in a centrifuge. And then they're taking the stromal cells, they're separating them, and then they're injecting those fat cells back into the tissue like your knee or your joint. And those cells are regenerating the tissue. So your fat cells actually have a regenerative nature about them because they're precursor cells. They also control your immune system through the formation of what they call cytokines. So fat tissue, adipose tissue, mediates inflammation. It also produces estrogen. So for you females out there, you know what estrogen is. It makes you a female. Testosterone makes a man, and estrogen makes a female. And if you wonder how that works, just ask Bruce Jenner. I'm sorry, Caitlyn Jenner. He turned into a female with high levels of estrogen. Now, estrogen is produced normally by your ovaries, which lie in your sexual area, down in your womb, those ovaries. But what else can happen is when ovaries stop functioning because, it's called menopause, now your estrogen can be provided from your fat cells in small amounts. So 20% body fat is a very normal, healthy amount of body fat to have. So of your 100% of your weight, 20% should be body fat. The other 80% is what we call lean muscle mass. Now, 20-80. As long as your body fat stays at about 20%, it's a wonderful, important part of your life. It stores calories. It cushions your body. It produces the right amount of cytokines, which are these inflammatory mediators. It produces the right amount of estrogen. It also produces hormones that prevent you from overeating, like leptin and ghrelin and these other very important things. Everything is fine, hunky-dory, unless you increase that fat mass to be larger than 20%. So 25%, now you're considered overweight. 30% is now considered obese. And then you get into 35, 40, and 45% body fat. This is morbidly obese. And almost half of your body weight is now fat, adipose tissue. Now, that wouldn't be so bad if your muscle tone stayed at 80%, but that's not what happens. Every time your body fat goes from 20 to 30%, your muscle tone drops 10%. So then you go from 30 to 40%, and your muscle tone drops another 20%. And that, my friends, is a recipe for disaster. If you need help, if you need someone to guide you, to give you your actual body fat percentages, we can help you at the Slim Body Laser Spa. I have a free consultation, 772-223-5885, or go online, slimbodylaserspa.com. Hit the contact page. If you come in for this consultation, we can help you and teach you about what I'm speaking of. And at least you can make an informed decision as to what you want to do. Now, my business is using a laser to help you to get results faster and quicker with less downtime and absolutely no possibility of any damage or burning, or, the laser is completely safe. Not all lasers are safe. I just want to be clear on that. Lasers are classified based on how much power they put out, on how bright it is. It's a light. It's a machine that shoots a straight beam, which is why it's called laser. Laser amplified stimulated emission radiation is what LASER stands for. Okay? At a very low power, the laser is what you see in your CD player, or when you go to the store and you do the barcode reader, that little red light you see there, that's a laser light. It's just very low power. And that's called a class 1 device. So lasers are classified class 1, 2, 3, 3A, 3B, and class 4. So the class 1 lasers are barcode readers, the little laser pointers you see used at the at presentations, the laser which uses they use it now to determine the levelness of pictures, and and they use the laser to hang pictures. Those are very low level lasers. And then you come into the next, and those are less than a half a watt of power, which is very low power, and thus they don't hurt you. unless you stare directly into it. So let's be clear. Any light that you stare into for any length of time can damage your retina. It doesn't mean it's a horrible thing that the light, but I mean, you understand what I mean. Don't look in anything bright. So our lasers are class 3, and that means it's less than a half a watt of power, and they cannot burn you at all. They're low level, and we call them cold laser technology. Now, the next laser is a class 4 laser, and those are the lasers that have a higher output of power. Thus, they can burn, they can damage tissue, they can create fires, they can melt metal, they can shoot beams across the stars. These are class 4 devices. So the laser that you use for hair removal is a class 4 device. The laser that is used for tattoo removal, for burning away those tattoos, that's a class 4 laser. The laser that they use, CyberKnife, that they use to cut tissue, they now use it for dental surgery, the LANAT procedure. Those are class 4 devices. The Fraxel laser, which resurfaces skin to help get rid of some acne or to resurface damaged skin where you turn red and then all your skin peels off, that's a class 4 laser. That is not what we're using in Slim Body. They're also using class 4 lasers in a procedure called SafeSculpt or Sculpture, which if you want to find out about it, Google it. I'm not going to go into that here, but we do not use those machines. The other procedure that's out there to help deal with this fat is something where they're actually freezing the fat. They're freezing it. And that is called, it's the cool SCULPTING procedure. It's the fat freezing procedure. Cool. You know what it is. And when I was a kid, I was in Massapequa as a little boy. And I remember it would snow up north, we'd have snow. And I remember my mom teaching me as a kid about frostbite, about not going, keeping your boots on, don't allow your feet to get wet. If your feet become really cold and then they blanch, or they become white, that you could actually, I remember watching movies of people that had frostbite where they had to cut off the tips of their toes. So to me, anything which is cold enough to kill the tissue is not a good idea. I remember that at 10 years old. So when I first heard about this fat freezing procedure, the first thought to my mind was, oh my God, that's got to be dangerous. Because in order to freeze something, to destroy it, isn't there going to be damage from that? Doesn't it kill the tissue? Well, it's a technique and it's a procedure which has that risk. It just has that risk. The percentage is very small, but it still has the risk. That's not what we do. That's not what I would ever do. My low-level laser, cold laser technology, this class 3B laser, not a class 4, is safe and effective and can never, ever hurt your body or create any problem. I like that. You should like that. The world needs something which is non-invasive and effective. And this is why the Slim Body's there. If you'd like a consultation, give me a call, 772-223-5885. Go online, slimbodylaserspa.com. Quit complaining that somebody else overfed you and you got weight and blame it on them. It's your fault. You're the one that sat down, opened your mouth, and ate the food. Or stopped exercising, or found a reason not to, and then allowed this to creep on over time. So I'm going to go over something in the next 10 minutes or so here before we wrap this show up. I'm right at the 45 minutes. These are called hard breaks for us in the radio business. And I've been working on self-discipline for myself. By the way, everything that I mentioned in the radio show and these ideas, I've suffered from myself. This is my deal. This is me. And one of the issues I have come into is in my 50s. I'm 58 years old, and I sometimes struggle with self-discipline. What does it take to be, they always say self-discipline is the road to happiness, but to me, it sure doesn't seem that way when you do something you don't want to do. Yet everything I read and go over is about self-discipline. Do you agree? Do my listeners agree to that? So I'm going to go over some, just a little 10-minute thing I wrote down about myself, and I hope that you see yourself in this somewhere. So got to put on my glasses here. Okay. Number 1, the importance of self-discipline. Identify the areas of your life where you feel the happiest right now, and how could you expand more of these areas in your life? So this is the importance of self-discipline to create happiness in your life. Identify the areas of your life, write it down, where you feel the happiest right now, and how could you expand these areas more in your life? That's number 1. Number 2, identify areas in your life where you feel more control. And obviously, you feel good about that. When you're in control of your life, you feel good. And on the flip side, number 3, identify areas where other people have control over you, which leads to unhappiness and frustration. It's about happiness. Number 4, identify and agree to begin to resolve the situation where you have lost control. I think about that in my own life. It's usually financial for me. You know, I have overbought, opened up a new office. It's down south, thought it would be there forever. And when I closed it, I ended up having to pay back the loan, that lease agreement. I'm not the only one that's ever done that. And what's happened is I've lost control of that. I have to do that. I can't control that. And it has led to some unhappiness and some frustration. So everybody has these things, and you got to resolve the situation where you've lost control. And for me, it's living, you know, properly so I can pay that bill back without any stress on other areas of my life. So identify those areas in your life and what you'd really like to achieve. What do you really want from life? And what could you do to begin to bridge these gaps and gain more self-control and identify the most happiness for you? Number 6, identify the most pressing needs you have today that are not being fulfilled. Identify those activities that give the greatest feeling of personal happiness and do things to increase that happiness. You know, be aware. Identify the areas in your life where you feel the most discontent and immediately begin to resolve this feeling. Wake up. Be aware. Number 8, define happiness for yourself and what would have to happen for you to feel truly happy and what you can do immediately to create that situation. So that's some tips about happiness. If you would like this list, shoot me an email, slimbodylaserspa@gmail.com, and I can send this to you instantaneously. Well, within reason, but this is free to share to you. Okay, so now we're going to talk about health. And humans are living longer and better today than ever in human history. And your goal should be to be one of them. There's no area where self-discipline is more important than in your health. That's so true. There's no area where self-discipline is more important than in your health. I remember reading Travis Stork, the guy, the doctor on Doctor Show, and he said that a person has to make the decision to be healthy 200 to 300 times per day in order to maintain health. And that means brushing your teeth, getting enough sleep, taking a shower, how much sugar, you know, are you going to put sugar in your coffee? Are you going to eat something which is protein? Are you going to skip meals? Are you going to put your seatbelt on? It goes on and on and on. These are self-discipline. And there's nothing more important where self-discipline is so important than in your health. Your number one goal for yourself should be to live as long as you can for as long as you possibly can. This requires lifelong discipline in order to have good health. Good health is one of the ingredients of overall happiness. Boy, is that the truth. I mean, we live in a very affluent area here in South Florida. Every time I drive down by the beaches, I see those beautiful homes. And, yesterday, all those incredible boats going up and down. And I thought to myself, if they have health along with all that, my God, what a gift. But how many of them out there don't have health, are suffering with medications, can't do the things they wanted to do? Health is key, man. I mean, they asked Forbes, who was the this famous rich guy that read the Forbes magazine. He said, if there's anything you could have, you have it all, what would it be? And he flat out said, more time. Well, there you go. So good health is one of the ingredients of overall happiness. And here it is. So life expectancy for males today is 76.8 years. And for females, it's 79.8 years, or approximately 80 years. It should be your goal to defy the averages and live to the age 90 to 95 or even longer in great health. Right? I know that to be true. So here we have identified some of the most important things in order to be healthy. And they've done a study on people that were Olympic athletes. And they found out that these habits are the most important features of them being healthy, are these habits that I'm going to explain to you in one second. Habits for living a long time.
Living into our 90s and 95.
I lost my page.
Uh-oh.
But I know it because I study this stuff. So the first one is in food. Is eating food that is real food, and that would be their habit is, and these are Olympic athletes that have extended their life and have great life. The first thing is they eat lean protein. Okay. The second one is they eat fresh fruits and vegetables. And the third one is they also drink lots and lots of water. The fourth one is they exercise daily. So the ideal amount to exercise is about 30 minutes per day or 200 minutes per week. And you can achieve this by walking, swimming, or using exercise equipment. You should also fully move or articulate every joint every day in every way. So these are number 5 way to extend your life and to live better is something you're going to be very surprised about. It's wear your seatbelt. The most common cause of premature death before the age of 35 is traffic accident by the tens of thousands per year. So protein, lean proteins, healthy fruits and vegetables, drink lots of water, exercise 30 minutes per day, approximately 200 minutes per week, get your heart beating. And number 5 is wear a seatbelt. Number 6, don't smoke. Smoking is correlated with different illnesses, including lung cancer, esophageal cancer, throat cancer, stomach cancer, heart disease, or you could die of other things from smoking. Number 7 health habit is to drink alcohol only in moderation. Studies show that 1 to 2 glasses of wine per day aid in digestion and seem to be beneficial to your overall health. Any excessive alcohol drinking lead to all kinds of problems, including overeating, traffic accidents, personality problems, and antisocial behaviors. Now, each of these 7 factors contribute to a long life and are completely a matter of self-discipline. Choosing the right proteins, choosing fruits and vegetables, drinking plenty of water, exercising daily, moving your joints every day in every way, wearing seatbelts, not smoking, drinking alcohol in moderation. You have a choice. This is something that you can pick and choose. They are actions that you can choose to take or not to take, and they are completely under your control. At my office, at the Slim Body Laser Spa, I teach the 5 keys of excellent health. So the first key is proper weight and regular exercise. The discipline and willpower to achieve your proper weight and then keep it throughout your lifetime is most important. The payoff is tremendous. You feel good, and you generally feel more positive and in control of your life. Number 2 is proper diet. As Benjamin Franklin said, it is better to eat to live than live to eat. And here's the studies of Olympic athletes that I was mentioning. For more than 120 countries and 3 factors, their diet all have in common are a lean source of protein, a wide variety of fruits and vegetables, and lots of water. About 8 glasses or more per day. When you go on this Olympic diet, you'll feel more alert, more awake, and aware all day long. So let's talk about the weight gain, and about not gaining weight and how important weight is. It's so important that proper weight and regular exercise. So what's important to understand about weight is everybody has a certain metabolic rate. This is the rate at which you burn energy. This metabolic rate is set over the course of your lifetime by the amount of food that you eat relative to the amount of exercise you burn to work it off. In addition to your metabolic rate, you have what is called a set point. This is where your weight is set, like a thermostat into which it returns no matter how much you take off the weight. By crash dieting, to lose weight, you must change your set point to a lower number to achieve this. So one of the things we teach is to create a clear mental image of how you will look when you reach your ideal weight. And then what happens is it's a gradual process of changing your food, exercising more, without any intention of ever going back to the old person, to the old habits. And be prepared for at least 1 year. If you are overweight, it took you a long time to get where you are. Be prepared to invest at least a year into this. Many people diet and lose weight with the idea that as soon as they drop a number of pounds, they're going to go out and have a fabulous meal and consume unlimited desserts, right? I get the weight off. I can't wait. I'll go back eating again. In other words, they use the idea of filling up on foods. This approach is doomed to failure. And what we suggest at the Slim Body Laser Spa is set up a reward system for yourself that does not include food as a reward, right? That's like, well, anyway, that's decide instead to buy yourself or clothes that will only fit you at your ideal weight. That would be one reward. The next reward might be when you lose that weight to take yourself and your family on a vacation where you engage in activity that's fun, that's energetic. The other choice you can do is make a bet with someone that you take off the weight and the key to perfect health. So the only way that you can lose weight permanently is to burn off more calories, and that's the way it works. Now, there's 3 things which have to be avoided, and they are sugar, salt, and flour. To lose weight permanently and to enjoy high levels of energy, you should eliminate all simple sugars from your diet that are contained in candy, pastries, dessert, coffees, and all other forms of sugar that people consume in large amounts. It is a fact that you require no additional sugar to enjoy levels of physical health. Simply by eliminating all sugar and sugar products from your life, you can begin to lose as much as 1 pound per day. The average American gets plenty of salt in their diet, but the average American also consumes an extra 20 pounds of salt yearly by eating food with high salt or sodium and adding additional salt at meals. If you drink your 8 glasses of water per day, you'll release the excess fluid, and you can actually experience a 4 to 5 pound reduction in weight in only 1 day. You also need to eliminate all white flour products. That means bread, pastries, cakes, cookies, rice, buns, anything made with white flour. There is no energy or nutrition in white flour. It's simply inert food, and it wears you down and makes you fat. So if you want more information, shoot out an email, slimbodylaserspa.com. go to my contact page on my website, Slim Body Laser Spa. Hey, we have free consultations all this week. Give us a call. The consultation takes 30 minutes. You'll watch a very informative DVD. You'll sit down with me. I'll go over your health history, see if we can help you out. I so thank you so much for your patience and your attention here today. I will see you next week. Have a great day from Dr. Tread at the Slim Body Laser Spa.